I stare at my father's hands as he shuffles the papers on the boardroom table. Those hands built this company from nothing. Those same hands are about to tear my world apart, though he doesn't know it yet. Before we begin today's quarterly review, I have an announcement, Father says, his voice carrying that practiced authority that used to make me feel safe. Now it just makes my stomach clench. I'm Bailey, and I've spent the last 8 years proving myself worthy of those hands' legacy. Every promotion earned through sweat and strategy, not nepotism. Every victory celebrated with a single nod from him, his version of a standing ovation. As we move into our next phase of expansion, Father continues, we need strong leadership at the helm, someone who understands both tradition and innovation. My pulse quickens. This is it, the moment I've been working toward since I joined Reynolds Manufacturing straight out of business school. Chief Operating Officer, the position that's been vacant since Marcus retired 3 months ago. Ryan, my brother-in-law, catches my eye from across the table and smiles. That smile has always bothered me. Too perfect, too practiced. Like everything else about him since he married my sister Lindsay 5 years ago. I'm pleased to announce that Ryan Williams will be stepping into the role of Chief Operating Officer, effective immediately. The words hit like a physical blow. Around me, applause erupts, but it sounds distant, underwater. Ryan stands, straightening his Italian silk tie, the one Lindsay bought him for Christmas. Thank you, Robert. I'm honored by your trust in me, Ryan says, his voice smooth as aged whiskey. I promise to uphold the Reynolds legacy and lead us into a prosperous future. My mother touches my arm. I realize my knuckles have gone white around my pen. Honey, she whispers, breathe. But I can't breathe. 8 years of 60-hour weeks, missed holidays, sacrificed relationships, all of it handed to Ryan on a silver platter because he married into the family, because he plays golf with Father, because he knows how to smile and nod and say exactly what Father wants to hear. The meeting continues. Quarterly reports, profit margins, strategic initiatives. I take notes mechanically, muscle memory carrying me through while my mind races. Something's wrong here. Ryan's been with the company barely 4 years, and suddenly he's COO. As everyone files out, I catch a glimpse of Ryan slipping his phone into his pocket. For a split second, I see a text message preview. Meeting confirmed for Thursday. Vertex Corp. Vertex Corp, our biggest competitor. Father calls my name as I reach the door. Bailey, a moment? I turn, forcing my face into neutral. Yes? I know you were expecting. He begins, then stops adjusting his tie. Ryan brings fresh perspective. Sometimes that's more valuable than years of experience. The words slice deep, but I manage a tight smile. Of course, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting. I walk out before he can respond, my heels clicking against marble floors that suddenly feel less like home and more like a battlefield. In my office, I close the door and pull up our competitor research database. Vertex Corp has been unusually aggressive lately, almost like they know our moves before we make them. My phone buzzes. A text from Lindsay. Heard the news, so excited for Ryan. Family dinner tonight to celebrate? I stare at the message, at the database, at Ryan's perfect smile in the company directory photo. Something isn't adding up, and I'm going to find out what it is. Father always taught me that business is chess, not checkers. Fine. If that's how they want to play it, I'll show them exactly what 8 years of learning the game looks like. Game on, Ryan. Game on. The family dinner table feels like a minefield tonight. Mother's china gleams under the chandelier light, a perfect stage for this farce of celebration. Ryan sits at Father's right hand, my spot for the last 3 years. The symbolism isn't lost on me. To Ryan, Lindsay raises her wine glass, beaming at her husband, the newest chief operating officer of Reynolds Manufacturing. Everyone clinks glasses. I take a long sip instead of speaking, letting the Cabernet burn away the words I want to say. Through the crystal stem, I watch Ryan check his phone under the table, the 3rd time in 20 minutes. Bailey. Mother touches my arm, her voice gentle. You've barely touched your food, dear. Just processing the exciting changes, I say, stabbing a piece of asparagus. Actually, Father, I wanted to discuss something about Vertex Corp's recent market moves. Not tonight, Bailey. Father cuts me off, his tone carrying that familiar note of dismissal. This is a celebration, not a strategy session. Ryan's phone buzzes again. This time, I catch him angling the screen away from Lindsay. "Sorry, everyone," he says, standing. "Quick work call, won't be a minute." As he leaves, I excuse myself to use the bathroom. Instead, I follow him to Father's study. The door's ajar, and Ryan's voice drifts out in hushed tones. "Yes, Thursday works. No, Robert doesn't suspect anything. Trust me, I have everything under control." My heart pounds against my ribs. I step back, but the floorboard creaks. Ryan appears in the doorway, his perfect smile slightly crooked. "Eavesdropping, Bailey? That's beneath you." Funny, I was thinking the same about corporate espionage. His smile doesn't waver, but something cold flickers in his eyes. Careful with accusations like that. They have a way of hurting the accuser more than the accused. Is that a threat? It's advice from your new COO. Back at the table, Father's telling his favorite story about founding the company. I've heard it 100 times, but tonight the words sound different. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that protect the family legacy. I can't stay silent anymore. What about protecting the family itself? The table goes quiet. Mother sets down her fork. "Bailey," Father warns. "No, I want to know. Why did Ryan get COO? What makes him more qualified than someone with 8 years of experience?" Lindsay reaches for my hand. I pull away. "Your sister's husband has shown exceptional leadership potential," Father says, his voice hard. "This isn't the time or place." When is the time? When Vertex Corp mysteriously knows our every move. When our market share disappears. When Ryan's finished. Enough! Father's fist hits the table. Wine glasses rattle. "You're letting jealousy cloud your judgment. Ryan earned this position. If you can't accept that, perhaps you need to reconsider your place in this company." The words hang in the air like smoke. Mother's eyes fill with tears. Lindsay stares at her plate. Ryan returns, adjusting his tie, the picture of innocence. "Is everything all right?" he asks. "Perfect timing." I stand, throwing my napkin down. "Father was just explaining how earning something works. Maybe you could give us all lessons." "Bailey," Mother pleads. But I'm already walking away, my heels echoing on the marble floor. Behind me, I hear Lindsay's confused voice. "Ryan, why is your tie different?" I stop. Turn. The blue silk tie he wore to dinner has been replaced with a red one. The same red tie I saw in the surveillance photo from last week's Vertex Corp board meeting. Ryan meets my eyes across the room. His perfect smile doesn't reach them anymore. "Good night, everyone," I say, my voice steady despite the rage burning in my chest. I have some work to do. As I drive home, my phone lights up with a text from an unknown number. "Smart girl, but not smart enough. Stay out of it." I save the number. Another piece of evidence for the file I'm building. Ryan thinks he's won, but he's about to learn what 8 years of watching, learning, and waiting looks like in action. The game is just beginning. The security footage plays on my laptop screen for the 10th time. Ryan enters the downtown Marriott at 2:15 p.m., exactly when he claimed to be at a supplier meeting. 20 minutes later, James Carson, Vertex Corp's CEO, follows through the same door. My hands shake as I forward the video file to a secure email address. 3 weeks of surveillance, calling in favors from college friends in cybersecurity, and tracking Ryan's movements have led to this moment. The evidence is undeniable. My office door opens. "Working late again?" Ryan's voice carries that same smug confidence, but there's something else now, a slight edge of nervousness. "Just reviewing some interesting data," I say, closing my laptop. "You know how numbers tell stories." He leans against my doorframe, perfectly tailored suit hiding the snake beneath. "Speaking of stories, your father's concerned about your recent behavior. The accusations, the late nights, the missed family dinners. Funny how my dedication to the company only became concerning after you got that promotion." "Bailey," he steps closer, lowering his voice. "We're family. Stop digging before you hurt people you love. Lindsay's already asking questions about our marriage." The mention of my sister hits like a punch to the gut. "Are you threatening me with my sister's happiness?" "I'm offering you a chance to back off gracefully. Take it." My phone buzzes. A text from Lindsay. "Need to talk. Now, please." Ryan's eyes flick to my phone. His perfect mask slips for just a second, revealing something dark underneath. He leaves without another word. I find Lindsay in her art studio, surrounded by half-finished canvases. Her eyes are red. I found these. She holds up printouts of emails between Ryan and Vertex Corp. In his desk while looking for tax documents. Tell me you knew about this. My throat tightens. Lindsay, you knew? She stands, hands trembling. You knew my husband was betraying our family and you didn't tell me? I was gathering evidence. Evidence? She laughs bitterly. God, Bailey, this isn't one of your corporate chess games. This is my life. I was trying to protect you. By watching my marriage implode in silence, by letting me celebrate his promotion while knowing he was destroying everything our father built, the paint-splattered studio suddenly feels too small. Lindsay, please. No, she steps back. You don't get to play protector now. You wanted revenge on Ryan more than you wanted to help me. Just like father wanted his perfect son-in-law more than he wanted to see the truth about either of us. Her words cut deep because they're true. I've been so focused on exposing Ryan, I forgot about the collateral damage. About Lindsay. My phone buzzes again. An email notification. The security footage has been corrupted, the file unreadable. My laptop alerts me to a system breach. I have to go, I say, already running calculations in my head. Lindsay, I'm sorry. I'll fix this. That's your problem, Bailey, she calls after me. You think everything can be fixed with enough strategy and willpower. Some things just break. Back in my office, my computer is completely locked. Every file, every piece of evidence, gone. On my screen, a single message. Warned you, game over. My phone rings. Father's name flashes on the screen. Bailey, his voice is ice. My office. Now. I walk down the familiar hallway, past family photos and achievement plaques. Through the glass walls, I see Ryan standing beside Father's desk, that perfect smile back in place. Before I reach the door, I get one last text from Lindsay. I'm leaving him, and the family. Don't try to fix this one. I straighten my spine and push open the door. They think they've won, that they've broken me. But they don't understand. Sometimes things need to break before they can be rebuilt. Game over? No, the real game is just beginning. I find Alex in his darkroom, red light casting shadows that match my mood. He's hanging photos from his latest exhibition, stark black and white images of broken things made beautiful, shattered mirrors, cracked sidewalks, abandoned buildings reclaimed by nature. Your sister called, he says without turning around. Twice. I can't talk to her right now. I sink onto his worn leather couch, the one place that still feels safe. Everything's falling apart. Alex pins up another photo, a butterfly with torn wings. Sometimes that's necessary. My phone buzzes. An email from an anonymous account. Financial records showing massive transfers from Reynolds Manufacturing to offshore accounts. Ryan's signature on every document. But something's off about the timing. These records, I mutter, scrolling through dates. They started 3 months before Ryan joined the company. Alex steps closer, studying my screen. What does that mean? It means I've been looking at this all wrong. My hands start shaking. Ryan's not working alone. Someone helped him get inside. My phone rings. Mother's number. I let it go to voicemail. Bailey. Alex's voice carries a warning. Maybe it's time to step back. Let the authorities handle this. I can't. The words come out harder than intended. This isn't just about Ryan anymore. Someone's been planning this for years. Another email arrives. Security footage from 5 years ago. The day Ryan first met Lindsay. He's shaking hands with James Carson from Vertex Corp outside a coffee shop. The timestamp shows it was 3 hours before he accidentally bumped into my sister at her art gallery. Oh God, I whisper. Lindsay was never the target. She was the way in. Alex's darkroom phone rings, the landline he keeps for clients. He answers, listens, then holds it out. It's your father. My stomach drops. Father never calls Alex's studio. Bailey? His voice sounds older than I've ever heard it. Come home, please. Why, so you can defend Ryan again? No. A long pause. Because I just found out who's really behind this, and I owe you an apology. The line goes dead. My phone lights up with a text from Ryan. Too late. Should have taken the warning. Then another from Lindsay. Dad just collapsed. Hospital. Hurry. Alex is already grabbing his keys. But I'm frozen, staring at the financial records. The first transfer was made exactly 15 years after Father's biggest triumph, the hostile takeover of Carson Industries. James Carson lost everything that day, and now his revenge is complete. I have to go. I stand, but Alex catches my arm. Bailey, wait, look. He points to one of his photos, a cracked mirror reflecting multiple fragments of the same image. Sometimes we're so focused on what's right in front of us, we miss what's happening in the reflection. I look closer at the financial records, the account numbers, the dates, everything perfectly documented, perfectly incriminating, too perfect. It's a trap, I realize. They wanted me to find this. They knew I'd go after Ryan, that Father would defend him. They're using our own dysfunction against us. So, what are you going to do? My phone buzzes again, an update from the hospital. Father's condition is critical. The same thing they did, I say, grabbing my coat. Use their plan against them. Bailey, I know what you're going to say. That revenge won't fix anything, that I'm just playing into their hands. Alex picks up the butterfly photo, its torn wings somehow more beautiful for their damage. Actually, I was going to say be careful. Some things, once broken, can't be put back together the same way. I look at my phone. Missed calls from Mother, Lindsay, even Ryan. Each one a piece of this shattered family mosaic. Maybe they shouldn't be, I say, and head for the door. Behind me, in the red light, the broken butterfly seems to flutter on its pin. The hospital corridor stretches endlessly, antiseptic and unforgiving. Through the ICU window, I watch Father's chest rise and fall with mechanical precision, tubes and wires making him look smaller than I've ever seen him. Stress-induced cardiac event, the doctor had said. Translation: my father's heart literally broke when he discovered the truth. Ryan stands at the nurse's station, performing grief with Oscar-worthy precision. Mother clutches his arm like he's the only thing keeping her upright. Lindsay's nowhere to be seen. My phone vibrates. An email from James Carson himself. Your father made his choice 15 years ago. Now it's your turn. Attached is a contract. The terms are simple. If I publicly expose Ryan's dealings, Carson will provide evidence clearing Reynolds Manufacturing of any wrongdoing. The company survives, but Father's reputation dies. He's asking for you, Mother says, suddenly beside me. Her eyes are red-rimmed, accusing. Try not to upset him. Father's monitor beeps steadily as I approach his bed. His eyes flutter open, focusing on me with unexpected clarity. I should have listened, he whispers. Don't. Carson approached me last month. He continues, each word a struggle. Offered to buy the company. Said it was time for reconciliation. My hands clench. When? The day before I announced Ryan's promotion. His fingers twitch toward mine. I thought I was protecting our legacy. By choosing him over me? By choosing what I thought was safe. His voice cracks. I was wrong. The monitor's rhythm speeds up slightly. A nurse appears, checking readings. You need to rest, Mr. Reynolds, she says firmly. Through the window, I see Ryan on his phone, pacing. His reflection splits across the glass. Businessman, husband, traitor. All masks, perfectly worn. Bailey, Father calls as I turn to leave. The safe, in my office, the combination. The monitors shriek. The nurse hits an alarm. Medical staff flood the room, pushing me out. Ryan appears at my shoulder. What did he tell you? Nothing that concerns you. His hand catches my arm, fingers digging in. Everything about this company concerns me now. I'm family, remember? I lean close, dropping my voice. So is Benedict Arnold. His perfect mask slips, revealing something ugly beneath. Careful, Bailey. Accidents happen in times of stress. Look at your father. Mother's gasp tells me she heard. Ryan's mask snaps back into place as he turns to her. I just meant, but she's backing away, years of willful blindness finally cracking. My phone buzzes again. Carson, time's running out. Tick-tock. The hospital intercom crackles. Code blue, ICU room 4. Father's room. Everything slows down. Through the chaos, I see Ryan slip away, phone to his ear. Mother collapses into a chair. And I run. The office is dark when I reach it, city lights casting shadows through Father's wall of windows. The safe sits behind his degrees and awards. 15 years of business success built on Carson's destruction. My hands shake as I input the combination. 10/15/89. The day he founded the company. Nothing. 10/23/92. My birthday. Nothing. Then I remember Alex's words about reflections, about seeing what's really there. 9851-001. The company's founding date reversed. The safe clicks open. Inside, a single USB drive and a handwritten note in Father's precise script. The truth about Carson Industries. I'm sorry. My phone lights up. The hospital. Father's condition is critical. Another message from Carson. Final offer. Tick-tock. And one from Ryan. Whatever you found, it dies with him. I plug the USB into Father's computer. Files appear, emails, contracts, photos. The real story behind Carson Industries' fall. Evidence that would destroy both families. The truth about legacy, revenge, and the price of pride. My finger hovers over the delete key as sirens wail in the distance. Sometimes things need to break completely before they can be rebuilt. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies, but saving yourself. I press the key and make my choice. The board meeting room feels like a tomb. 15 faces stare at me from around the mahogany table while Carson's evidence plays on the projection screen. Ryan's secret meetings, the offshore accounts, everything except what was on Father's USB drive. As you can see, I conclude, my voice steady despite the trembling in my hands, the COO has been systematically undermining this company's interests. Ryan doesn't even flinch. His perfect smile remains fixed as he stands. What an impressive piece of fiction, Bailey. Almost as creative as your father's version of what happened to Carson Industries 15 years ago. The room temperature seems to drop. Several board members shift uncomfortably. Speaking of father, Ryan continues, how is he? Still unconscious? Unable to defend himself against these accusations? Mother bursts through the doors, tears streaming down her face. My heart stops. He's awake, she announces, and he's asking for Ryan. The smirk Ryan gives me as he passes makes my blood boil. I move to follow, but James Carson himself steps into the doorway, blocking my path. Time to end this charade, he says quietly. You had your chance to do this the easy way. From his briefcase, he pulls out another USB drive. The complete truth about both families, including what your father did to my wife. My throat goes dry. What are you talking about? Ask your mother why she's really been protecting Ryan. Ask her about September 15th, 15 years ago. Mother's face goes white. James, please. The board deserves to know everything, Carson says, plugging in his drive. About Robert's affair with my wife. About the real reason she died that night. About why your mother's been paying Ryan to keep quiet all these years. The world tilts sideways. I grab the table for support as images fill the screen. Surveillance photos, hotel receipts, police reports. My father's signature. My mother's tears. A car accident that wasn't accidental. Bailey. Mother reaches for me, but I step back. You knew? My voice sounds strange, distant. All this time, you knew what Ryan was doing and you helped him? I was protecting our family. You were protecting yourself, the board members murmur among themselves. Carson stands by the screen, finally getting his revenge. Ryan returns, his timing perfect as always. Father's asking for you too, Bailey, he says softly. Isn't it time we all face the truth? I look around the room, at Carson's satisfied smile, at Mother's guilty tears, at the board members' judgmental stares. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about justice, about revenge, crumbles like ash in my mouth. My phone buzzes. A text from Alex. Remember the butterfly. Breaking isn't the end. But it feels like the end. The company's reputation is destroyed. Father's legacy is a lie. Mother's betrayal burns worse than Ryan's ever did. And I'm the one who set it all in motion. Well, Bailey? Ryan extends his hand, ever the perfect son-in-law. Shall we go see your father together, as a family? I stare at his outstretched hand, remembering every smile, every lie, every calculated move that led us here. Behind him, Carson nods slightly, his revenge complete through my unwitting help. The Reynolds family, I say quietly, is dead. We killed it, all of us. I turn and walk out, leaving behind the boardroom, the evidence, the wreckage of 15 years of secrets and lies. My phone buzzes again. Lindsay this time. I found something in Ryan's studio, something about Carson's wife. Come quick. The elevator doors close on Carson's surprised face, Ryan's faltering smile, and Mother's desperate reach. Sometimes revenge doesn't taste like victory. Sometimes it tastes like ashes and truth and the death of everything you thought you were fighting for. But sometimes, in the ashes, you find something else, something real. The elevator descends, and with it, my last illusions about family, legacy, and justice fall away. Rock bottom feels like freedom. Lindsay's art studio smells of turpentine and truth. She stands before an unfinished canvas, holding a leather-bound diary. I found this when I was packing Ryan's things, she says, her voice hollow. It belonged to Sarah Carson. The name hits like a physical blow. Sarah Carson, James Carson's wife, the woman who died 15 years ago. The woman father allegedly had an affair with. Read it. Lindsay hands me the diary. The last entry. The pages feel heavy with secrets. September 15th, the day of the accident. Robert refuses to help, says exposing James's embezzlement would destroy both companies, but the evidence is clear. James has been stealing from his own shareholders for years. I can't keep quiet anymore. Meeting Ryan tonight to hand over the proof. My hands shake. Ryan? He was just a teenager then. His father worked for Carson Industries. Lindsay's voice breaks. He blamed our family when the company collapsed. He's been planning this for 15 years. The studio door opens. Ryan stands there, that perfect smile finally gone. I wondered where that diary went. It's over, Ryan, I say, holding up the diary. The truth about Carson's corruption, about Sarah trying to expose him, about your father letting her die? Ryan steps closer, because that's what happened. She called him that night begging for help. He chose the company over her life. And you chose revenge over love, Lindsay says quietly. Was any of it real? Something flickers in Ryan's eyes. Pain, maybe regret. Lindsay, Save it, she cuts him off. Bailey, show him. I pull out my phone, play the audio file I found on Father's USB drive. Sarah Carson's voice fills the studio. James, I have proof of everything. The insider trading, the embezzlement, all of it. I'm taking it to the SEC tonight. Ryan's mask cracks completely. That's impossible. My father said, Your father lied. I step forward. Sarah wasn't meeting you to expose my father. She was meeting you to expose James Carson. And someone made sure she never made it to that meeting. The truth lands like a physical blow. Ryan staggers back. No, my father wouldn't. Carson sacrificed his own wife to keep his crimes hidden, Lindsay says, then used her death to manipulate you into destroying our family. Ryan's phone buzzes. Carson's number. He stares at it, 15 years of certainty crumbling. Make your choice, Ryan, I say quietly, but make it knowing the truth this time. He answers the phone, puts it on speaker. Is it done? Carson's voice crackles. Did you destroy the diary? Tell me about Sarah. Ryan's voice shakes. Tell me what really happened that night. A long pause. Ryan, focus on the plan. The Reynolds family. Tell me the truth, Ryan roars. Did you kill your own wife to hide your crimes? Another pause. Then coldly, she made her choice, just like you made yours. Don't forget who you really work for. The line goes dead. Ryan looks at the diary, at Lindsay, at 15 years of misdirected revenge. The board meeting's still in session, I say. Mother's there. Father's evidence is there. It's not too late to make this right. Ryan straightens his tie. A nervous habit I've seen 1,000 times. But now it looks less like arrogance and more like armor. Carson will destroy everything, he warns. No, Lindsay steps forward, takes the diary from my hands. The truth will destroy him, finally. Ryan looks between us, the sisters he tried to tear apart, now united by the very revenge he sought. Okay, he whispers, then stronger. Okay. We leave the studio together, heading back to the boardroom where Carson waits. Not for revenge anymore, but for justice. Real justice, built on truth instead of lies. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's destroying the lies that gave them power in the first place. The morning sun streams through Alex's darkroom window, casting shadows across the photographs spread before us. Images of the Reynolds manufacturing building, its windows dark for the first time in 30 years. Father in his hospital bed, signing the papers that transferred control to a board of trustees. Carson being led away by SEC agents, his perfect world crumbling like the empire he built on lies. "This one's my favorite," Alex says, holding up a photo of Lindsay and me, sitting on the steps of her new gallery. We're laughing about something I can't remember, but the joy looks real, unfamiliar. My phone buzzes. Mother's daily attempt at reconciliation. Today's message is different. Ryan agreed to testify. Carson's taking a plea deal. "You should call her back," Lindsay says from the doorway. She's paint splattered, looking more like herself than she has in years. "Not yet," I reply, studying another photo. Ryan's confession press conference, his perfect mask finally stripped away. Some things need time to develop properly. Alex smirks at the darkroom metaphor. I catch his eye, feeling that familiar warmth that has nothing to do with legacy or revenge. "The board approved your proposal," Lindsay continues. "They're restructuring the company, employee ownership, ethical investment guidelines, everything you fought for. Everything Father fought against," I add quietly. "Everything Sarah Carson died trying to protect," Lindsay corrects me. Sometimes the best revenge is finishing what good people started. My phone buzzes again. Father this time. I let it ring twice before answering. "The trustees want you back," he says without preamble, "as CEO." The Old Bailey would have jumped at this victory, would have seen it as validation, as proof that she was right all along. But I'm not her anymore. "No," I say, watching Alex arrange his photos. The broken butterfly, the cracked mirror, the family portrait from happier days. "I'm building something new." Father's silence speaks volumes. Then, surprisingly, "I know, that's why they want you." "Tell them to call me in 6 months," I say. After Lindsay's gallery opens, after the dust settles, after we all remember who we are without the weight of revenge. And then, I look at the final photo in the sequence, the Reynolds building at sunrise, its windows reflecting new light. Then we'll see what we can build from truth instead of lies. He hangs up without saying goodbye. Some habits die harder than others. Lindsay picks up Sarah Carson's diary from Alex's workbench. "Ryan wants me to have this. Says it belongs with someone who understands the cost of secrets." "And do you understand?" She traces the diary's worn cover. "I understand that revenge destroyed 3 families, but truth might save what's left." Alex starts pinning up new photos, not of the past, but of possibilities. Empty boardrooms waiting to be filled, blank canvases in Lindsay's gallery, a foundation being poured for something we haven't named yet. "You never told me," Lindsay says suddenly. "What was on Father's USB drive? The one you deleted?" I join Alex at the wall, helping him arrange the future. Evidence that would have destroyed Carson immediately. Proof that Father chose justice over revenge, even when it cost him everything. Then why delete it? Because sometimes the harder path is the right one. Carson needed to fall by his own actions, not our revenge. Lindsay nods, understanding at last. She sets the diary down among the photos of our broken, healing family. So what now? I look at the wall of images. Past, present, future all mixed together like chemicals in Alex's developing trays. Each one telling part of a story that's still being written. Now, I take Alex's hand, feeling the calluses from his camera work. Now we stop trying to fix what's broken. We build something new instead. Through the darkroom window, the morning light shifts, creating new shadows, new possibilities. Some things need darkness to develop properly, but eventually, everything comes into the light. And sometimes, that's revenge enough.